All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live in full effect with the one and only one-third of the legendary award-winning hip-hop trio. We got DoItAll of Lords of the Underground live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
I ain't hit a horn. I ain't got a... Nah, I'm only kidding. What up, y'all? How you doing?
I gotta say, first and foremost, man, it is an honor, man. I grew up on Lords of the Underground, same with majority of our listening audience right now, man. So just thank you for a little bit of your time this evening in advance.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for the love.
But I gotta ask you, man, because I know you're a busy guy, so I'm gonna dive right into this interview. But I have to ask you, like, what inspired you and sparked the legendary career of DoItAll?
Man, that's a loaded question. There's so many things that, go into becoming, DoItAll. There's so many people I got to give credit to along the way, too. So, I mean, there's just so many different things. I don't even know how to answer that question because there's a lot of different things, from family to friends to mentors to experiences to everything, I'm just the sum of I'm just the result of the sum of everything that happened in my life.
And I gotta say, man, you're most definitely doing what you are meant to be doing, man. You know what I mean? So I believe everything in life happens for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta be intentional, though.
And also, as well, as we already know, you are a member of the hip-hop trio Lords of the Underground, but I was always wondering, what's the story behind that phenomenal trio? How did you meet the other members?
Shout out to my group, man, Lords of the Underground, Mr. Funky and DJ Lord Jazz. We all met at our university, our college, Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina, in the States. Good dudes.
And I gotta say as well, you know what I mean? It's pretty cool that all you guys went to university, you all met there. Like, did you guys first start making music in the university dorm rooms? Or was it like later on after you guys got out of university is when the music started?
Well, I was a solo artist. Mr. Funky was a solo artist. And Lord Jazz was a DJ from Cleveland who was the popular DJ at the university. He did all of the functions, all of the parties. He was the man in North Carolina during college years. And, his college friend, who was a cousin of Marley Marl, the famous DJ Marley Marl, he was about to graduate college, and Marley was giving him a job to work for his company. And he told Lord Jazz to put a group together. And Lord Jazz just, I was the guy rapping all around campus. And my man Denton Evans told him about me. And Funky was doing the same thing. So Lord Jazz just put us together and formed this group called, later to become Lords of the Underground, and the rest is history.
And also, when you brought up Redman a few moments ago as well, that was actually the next question in my list. In 1990, Redman served as your DJ at the beginning of his career. I was wondering, how did yourself and Redman get connected, and what was it like just having a young Redman as your DJ?
You must got some bionic ears, because I didn't mention Redman, but that's my brother, man. We grew up in the same neighborhood. I'm from 19th Street, he's from 20th Street. And Trench is from 18th Street, so you got Naughty on 18th Street, you got Lords on 19th, and you got Redman on 20th. That's just my brother, man. We've been friends since about 11 years old, and we've just remained friends. So when I was rhyming in the neighborhood, he was also DJing. So I just kind of asked him for his services, and we just went around tearing everything up from, all around the greater Newark area in Newark, New Jersey, winning contests, and battling people, and that's how he became a DJ. But he was always a dope freestyle rap artist. I don't think he called himself a rap artist yet, but he was always a dope freestyle rapper.
And I gotta ask you as well, when you first heard Redman actually freestyle, like, did you actually think he'd be as big as he actually is today?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the thing with Redman and I, even though he was my DJ, we would speak things into existence. You know what I mean? Like, he wrote down. That's why it's real serious about writing your intentions down and whether you believe. I mean, you should believe in it. And if you wrote them down, then you have to have some belief in it. But we wrote a bunch of things down when we were younger, 16 years old. I think letter on his Instagram of when he wrote when he was 16, saying 40 years from now he's going to be a big rap star and, you know, all of that type of stuff. Everything that he wrote in the letter, he has become. But my point is that, yeah, I believed it because we went after things that we said we were going to do.
And also with that letter that he actually put up on his IG, man, that right there just proves to everybody worldwide with enough perseverance and faith, man, you can really do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah, I mean, you got to just put in the work. You just got to work harder than everybody else. You know, research and go after what you claim that you want to become or that you want.
And also, on March 9th of 1993, Lords of the Underground actually released your guys' debut album titled Here Comes the Lords. I've always wondered, that's one of my personal favorite records of you guys of all time. Like, what's the story behind that iconic record? And what was it like having Marley Marl and K-Def on your production team?
First of all, Marley Marl and K-Def, to have that combination, the legendary Marley Marl and K-Def being the new guy coming out of Jersey, it was just amazing. It was phenomenal, and I think the teamwork between both of them produced a sound that became legendary for us. But that's the wrong date of Here Come the Lord's release. Somebody created a Wikipedia or something that put that date on there, which is the death of Biggie Smalls. And the industry has been running with it for the longest. But the real date is around September 27th, September 28th, somewhere around that date that we released Here Come the Lord. It's just that we were releasing so many maxi singles and so many singles that I believe one of the singles released on March 9th. And you know, then people just said it after that was the release date, but it wasn't.
But also, I gotta agree as well. So September is most definitely a better release date for an album as well. You're just getting out of summer, you know what I mean? A lot of people are just staying indoors, man, so they're gonna be listening to more music.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But also,
that was the release date. Around that time, September 27th, I believe, was the date. You know, actually on that date that we released in Newark, New Jersey, they named the day after the mayor back then at that time. They named September 27th Lords of the Underground Day in Newark, New Jersey.
And I gotta ask you, like, with Lords of the Underground Day, is that still going on today? And like, what kind of festivities happen on that day, like throughout New Jersey? Like, I know with COVID, it's obviously permitting, but before COVID-19, what activities and events actually were going on your guys' day?
Well, I mean, we did something with an organization called Lincoln Park. We celebrated our 25th anniversary around that date. But it was just amazing, man. We did a show in our big theater, which is called Symphony Hall. We had a big celebration in the park at the Lincoln Park Music Festival, which is a festival that I help produce every year. And it was just amazing. It was great to see the city come out for their own and support them.
And also, in the year 1993, you guys actually won Best Rap Group of the Year at the BET Awards. And I want to know, like, how does it feel to know that you guys earned such a prestigious accolade so early on in your guys' career?
I mean, it was so early on that the award show wasn't really even on TV yet. You know, I think that, you know, when we were doing the award show, we were actually at the BET studios, and it was just like a big party. Now it's a big award show. You know what I mean? And so since we were kind of one of the first round of groups who were getting the awards, we didn't really take it like that. You know, the Grammys were the big awards back then. The Billboard Awards were the big awards. So BET wasn't a big award show yet. It felt good to get a award from the people who represent your culture in media, but it wasn't as prestigious as it is now.
And also, as well, you guys actually performed on an episode of In Living Color. I was wondering, how did that actually come to be for you guys? And what was it like? What was your experience like actually as performing on television?
I mean, we were the number one hip hop group in the world at that time. You know, so we were on everything. You know, when you hot, you hot. When you're not, you're not. So we were on all of the talk shows. We were on all of the television shows. Of course, it feels amazing. You know, this is a dream that you dreamed about becoming a rap artist and a famous rap artist, making money. And it felt amazing to be on a television show show that you frequently watch. You know, and then your family members get to see you, your fans get to see you. You get to meet all of the people who you find and respect their talent, who you find funny, and you respect their art. You know, so you build relationships that way. So it was amazing, you know.
And the one thing I have to ask pertaining to that TV show is like, because I was actually wondering, because obviously it's like your normal TV show that you actually have on TV where they have actors and whatnot. Like, did they tell you to do certain things during your performance, or did they just say get on stage and do what you guys do best, perform?
Nah, television is programming. All programming has a system and a process to it. You know, television is hurry up and wait. And what I mean by that is, you know, you can stand in a spot until the 30-second commercial ad is over. So they're telling if it's a live audience, and they're telling them when to clap. You know, they're telling them when to be quiet. They're telling you to stand on your mark. They're telling you when to come through doors. You know, they're telling you all of that type of stuff. So it's programming. So you have to follow the process that the television show goes by, so you can make it better for editing. So what you see on TV is a whole lot of things that go on beyond the scenes.
And also as well, aside from Lords of the Underground and music, you actually are an actor as well. And I was wondering, like, what made you actually decide to venture into the acting side of things?
Just natural progression, you know. I think like I look at my career like a moving vehicle, right? In America, we have in your automobile, the headlights see about 200 feet in front of you, but that's when it's not moving. You know, you see everything that's in front of you up to 200 feet. So when you start moving, you see another 200 feet. You move a little more, you see another 200 feet. You start seeing on-ramps and exit ramps and things in the distance that you couldn't see when you were just standing still. So once you start moving with anything, you start to see other things that you didn't know that you would have interest in. And then you figure out that you have interest. When I went to Shaw University, though, I majored in mass communication and I minored in theater. So I always thought that I was going to be an actor before I became a hip-hop artist. I actually auditioned for, it was up to me and Malcolm Jamal Warner to be Theo on a Cosby show. So if I would have beat Malcolm out, probably would have never been Lords of the Underground, at least not with me in it. I would have been Theo.
And also as well, like, you actually appeared in the final scene of the final episode of The Sopranos, and I have to ask you, what was that experience like? And of course, how did you land that role in The Sopranos?
They called me and asked me to come to the studio. There was no script. It was just everything was real secretive. It was the final episode, you know, and they had to do a lot of different things. And then when you watch the episode, it just blacked out. And that was the way that they intended it. But even on the set, you know, my dressing room was blacked out. The location was blacked out. You know, they kept everything real secretive. But it was amazing, you know, to be on the show and to be on the final episode of one of the biggest shows, and especially representing New Jersey, and be on one of the biggest shows on HBO. You know, it was dope.
And I agree that one of the biggest shows, my personal opinion, I think The Sopranos is still one of the biggest shows that actually came from HBO today, man. Like, it still has a huge fan base, like years after.
Yeah, Soprano fans, I mean, they were emailing me. Social media it was just kind of bubbling, so they were Black Planet and MySpace and me to death. You know, like real fans. You know, fans would find out your personal information and hit you up. So Soprano fans, they were real on it. They had questions all day.
And also as well, another big time primetime show you were actually a part of was Law and Order, where you actually played an individual by the name of Two-Tone. I was wondering, what was it like being on Law and Order, and of course, how did that opportunity come to be for you? Because Law and Order, in my personal opinion, is one of my favorite television shows actually out today.
Law and Order was dope. You know, Law and Order showed me that the way that you go into an audition is how you can seal your deal. You know, when I got the script from my agent to play Two-Tone, you know, you as an actor, you want to look for the things that make it your own. So I was just kind of figuring this guy out. He was a CI, and people out there, if you don't know what a CI is, that's an informant for the police. But he was an informant that was real cool with the police, and he didn't want anybody to know that he was an informant. He was from uptown Harlem, and he used to give the police information, but he was still known in the streets. So I just kind of figure out, like, I don't want to be no snitch. I don't want to be looked at as a snitch all on TV. So how do I play this guy? So I just really changed my appearance. I had braids back then. So what I did is, before the audition, I went to a hair. I had my guy stop at a beauty supply store on my way to the audition, and I bought some gold spray paint, like hair spray paint. And I sprayed half of my head gold and one of my eyebrows gold and half of my mustache gold. Because I felt like this guy is two-tone. They call him two-tone, so why do they call him two-tone? You know, and I just made up my own reason why they called him two-tone. And I went into the audition as two-tone. And when I left out as two-tone. They gave me the part immediately. I probably didn't even get down the stairs before they called my phone.
Yeah, by the sounds of it, they most definitely loved your character that you actually thought of, man. And I think this was around like '96. It was the original Law and Order series as well. So this is before like SVU and Criminal Intent actually made their way onto television.
Yeah, it's crazy because then I auditioned for Criminal Intent as a detective, but they were so used to the two-tone character they couldn't get it out of his head.
And I gotta say as well, I believe they had a TV movie and Ice Cube played a pimp, and then next thing you know, SVU they had him as a pimp. I think you would have did great as a detective, man. I really think your acting style would have fit perfectly.
Me too, man. Me too. I think so too. But nah, man. But yeah, I think it would have been dope, man. But it is, you know.
Hey, but you know what? The universe had other things for you. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah.
But also, jumping ahead to the 2000s, you actually performed 8 bars on Nas's remix of his song "Where Are They Now." How did yourself and Nas actually get connected? And of course, what was it like working on that project with him?
Shout out to Nas, man. He just won a Grammy last night, so shout out to Nas. Well overdue. I mean, Nas is my guy, man. Nas is, you know, we always been cool coming up through the industry. Nas has always been kind of quiet and reserved until he gets to know you. You know what I mean? But he reached out and he asked me to, you know, did I have 8 bars for his record? And I thought that was cool. You know what I mean? I respect him for that.
I most definitely agree, man. You know, most definitely congratulations on the Grammy. I think he got 15 nominations before he won, so most definitely well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. It's a payback Grammy.
Oh, I most definitely. I think also though the other years as well, man. He, in my personal opinion, he got robbed. He most definitely deserved them the other years as well.
Yeah, they Denzel'd him. You know, Denzel should have been got an Oscar, and then they gave it to him for Training Day. Not that the Training Day wasn't good, but he should have got it for, you know, Malcolm X. He should have got it for Glory. He should have got it for a bunch of things before he got it for Training Day. So I feel like they did the same thing to Nas, but. You know,
I most definitely agree. Especially John Q is another phenomenal performance he did.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also in 2010, you actually dropped your solo record named American Do, man. I was wondering, what's the story behind that amazing record? And of course, is it available on the internet to be purchased today?
Yeah, it's available. Shout out to all the producers and everybody who rocked with me with American Do. I was living in Paris, France, when I made American Do. I was just moving back to America, actually. And when I lived in France, you know, I had a lot of friends from different ethnic backgrounds. Like, I had great Iranian friends. At the same time, we were bombing Iraq, excuse me. You know, I had great friends over there, and they would ask me questions like why is your country bombing our country? And then, you know, being in America, you would hear all of these stories, but my experience with them were totally different. Like, these were great guys to me, you know. And I had friends who were Greek, amazing dudes, Africans, just so many different cultures who were amazing. And they would ask me, they would say, "Dude, where are you from?" And I would say, "America." They like, no, 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 no. But where are you from? And I'm like, Newark, New Jersey, in America. And they're like, nah, nah. Where are you from? What's your origin? And I really couldn't answer them. I know I'm of African descent, but I really couldn't answer them. You know, and all of these guys, they knew where they descended from. You know, they knew who their ancestors were. They knew what tribes they came from in Africa. They knew their heritage of their Greek heritage or wherever they were from. In Iraq, they knew their Muslim ancestors. They knew. It's only the Americans, since we were stolen, our ancestors were stolen and brought to America. We didn't know. So I would just always just start. You know, they always call me Do. So I just said America. So my friends would play around in Paris and say, "Oh, that's American Do." So I just named the album American Do.
And the one thing I have to ask as well, because I actually did not know that you actually lived overseas in France, but I have to ask you, what is it like? What is it like living over there versus America? Like, is it a lot different? Like, what's the similarities and also the differentials of just living overseas?
Of course, it's different. You're the foreigner. You know, America. You know, if I come to Canada, I am the foreigner. You are the Canadian. You understand Canada probably way more than I could. You know what I mean? The ins and outs and everything. It's the same thing. You know, of course, you get adapted to what's going on, but you have to start to get into their culture. And one thing is speaking their language. You know, you start to understand their food intake. You know, you start to understand that the aggressiveness might not mean that they're mad at you or they have a problem with you. It's just their way. You know, any culture is, any culture that you get involved in or get attached to, you have to understand whatever that way is, and then you have to adapt.
And also as well, I noticed that September 18th of 2020, you actually took part in the contributing back to your city, where you actually teamed up with the Loyalty Foundation to actually give out free computers to students around New Jersey. I was wondering, how did yourself and the Loyalty Foundation get connected? And of course, like, how can our listeners actually engage within the Loyalty Foundation and actually donate as well?
Oh man, shout out to the Loyalty Foundation. The Loyalty Foundation, we connected. They just seen some of the things that I was doing in the neighborhoods and the communities of Newark, New Jersey, and other places abroad. And they wanted in. They wanted in Newark to help people. And we came up, we sat down, we came to the table, and we tried to assess what the needs were. And we came up with a program that's called Digital Devices for All. Devices for All. And through Devices for All, we try to be the gap filler. You know, we fill the gaps. And what I mean by that is through this pandemic, this worldwide pandemic, most of the people are either working from home, and the children, the students, are doing e-learning and virtual learning and education online. So in order to do that, you need Wi-Fi, you need a device. And most of the schools are supplying the devices, but what we learn through just dealing with students and families, there's so many different things that are going on with e-learning and virtual learning. One is that the parents are not really adept in computers. They don't really know how to work computers. Some of the parents who speak a different language, they don't understand the teachers, and they just have to go off of what the students say. So what we did is we made sure that they had Wi-Fi, and also they don't get to keep the computers, and they break the computers just from the lack of understanding how to work it. So what we did is we fixed computers, we bought new computers, and we supplied them to fill those needs with the students. And you know, some of these students, they have nowhere to go and have a quiet learning session. You know, so many things going on in the background, it's noise, and so we tried to supply them with headphones, we tried to supply them with computers, and teach them programming, parents, to know how to work the computers and engage with the students and engage with the parents, engage with the teachers. And the program is called Devices for All. So we've given computers to probably 15 schools or more in the city of Newark, New Jersey.
And I gotta say as well, that's a phenomenal thing you're doing as well, because unfortunately, today's learning, even in schools, everything requires a computer or a tablet nowadays. So the fact that you're actually helping underprivileged families, that I gotta say, man, I just gotta say that's phenomenal that you're actually doing that, man. So just thank you for giving back to the youth.
I appreciate it. It's my duty, man. I appreciate that, man.
But I gotta ask you, DoItAll, because I know you have such a lengthy career within the music industry, and it would honestly take us days of talking just to actually cover it all. But I gotta ask you, like, what is next for you? Is there like any new projects you're currently working on, whether it's solo or Lords of the Underground, like anything else you want to talk about or promote that I might have missed during this broadcast?
Man, shout out to my crew once again, Lords of the Underground. We have put our album on hold because of the pandemic, just trying to figure out the right way and the correct way to give it to the listeners. It's called So Legendary, produced by the legendary Snow Goons out of Germany. It's an album that we made while we were on tour. It features Onyx, who are on tour with us. The album is very, very tough, man. But in the process, too, I have a solo album, probably one of my most personal albums yet, called Bring the Sun. And it's just an album that reflects about who I was as a young man, young black male growing up in an urban city by a single mom, by a single parent who was my mother. Being, when you have a male child being raised by a woman, it breeds a certain type of etiquette, and it makes the young male child have to pull from male mentors other different places, different places throughout your community. So it just talks about that growing up with a single parent who was my mom in a city like Newark, New Jersey, maneuvering through that city, and becoming who I am now.
And I gotta say, it sounds like a phenomenal project as well. Me personally, as a Lord of the Underground fan.
It is great though, man. You definitely gotta check it out, man. We got 2 videos. I did a song with the mayor of my city where he's doing poetry. His name is Mayor Rag J. Baraka. You can definitely check that out. It's called Keep the Faith, and it's on YouTube. But you can also check out another record called The Life, which is also off of Bring the Sun. And I probably will drop another one. So I'll probably make like a cinematic video. I might do it to the title track called Bring the Sun. So I'm still thinking about that now, but it's going to happen very soon. And then I wanted to put the album out tomorrow, but I'm going to wait. I'm gonna wait until I finish the video for Bring the Sun and drop the album and the video on the same day.
But also, DoItAll, this is the time in the interview quickly, right before I wrap things up, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but of course your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated everything DoItAll and Lords of the Underground if they're not already doing so.
I'm on Instagram a lot, man. Like I use Instagram. I have everything attached to Instagram. So if I hit Instagram, it's gonna go to Facebook, it's gonna go to Twitter. But my handle is DoItAll, that's DoItAllDU. So DoItAll do. And that's Twitter, that's Instagram. You can also hit up DoItAll on Facebook. Yeah, man, get at me, man. Definitely. Really hit me up on YouTube at DoItAll too, and check out the videos, and like the videos, subscribe, and you can see some unreleased footage pop on there. Just check it out, man. And you can get at me on like I said, Instagram, IG, DoItAll, that's DoItAllDU, DoItAll do. Yeah.
And most definitely. I gotta say, DoItAll, thank you so much, man, for just taking the time out of your busy evening and coming on the radio station. Like I said, I've been a fan for a long time, so just being able to chop it up with you and help you promote some of these newest projects is an honor, man. And hopefully down the line we can make it happen again sometime soon.
I appreciate that, man. Next time we gotta bring the whole crew back on, man.
Hey, most definitely, man. I can't say no to that one.
Yeah, and everybody, man, shout out to, what part of Canada, man?
I'm actually on the East Coast, so I'm actually I'm in Prescott, Ontario, so I'm closer to Ottawa. So right across the border from us is Ogdensburg, New York State.
Okay, Ottawa, Ontario. Shout out to all my people up there, man. Ottawa, clean is clean out there. If I remember correctly, Ottawa was clean. Is Ottawa a very clean place?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You believe in it. You know it's true. But shout out to everybody in Canada, man. We can't wait for this pandemic to be gone so we can. How are you guys dealing with the pandemic up there?
We're trying to do our best right now. We're currently our cases are rising. Our premier just recently opened up our province a little bit more, and obviously when the floodgates opens, you know what happens. Everyone runs out and does what they need to do. So our cases are starting to go back up, but me and my family, we're trying to stay safe. But I just want to get back to living a normal life and not have to worry about going into stores looking like a robber.
Right. Hey, man, shout out to everybody in Canada. It's your boy Do It All from that legendary hip hop group, Lords of the Underground. Do me a favor, make sure you check out my YouTube channel, man, and make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and also hit me up on IG, Instagram, Do It All, DoItAll, and make sure that you check out this Brenda Sun album when it drops. And Lords of the Underground would love to come out to Ottawa and Ontario when this is over, man, so we can get back to this live rock.
Hey, most definitely. We got a phenomenal festival here called Blues Fest, and they average about like 70,000 people, and I think Do It All would blow the stage right apart.
Definitely, man. If we just bring and Do It All, then I'm bringing a live band with me, man. Let's get busy.
Hey, man, you already know what to do. I appreciate you, Do It All. Thank you so much, and most definitely, hopefully we'll do this again sometime soon. But for now, man, most definitely stay safe out there out in Jersey.
All right, man. Y'all be safe in Canada, man.
We most definitely will try, Do It All. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great night.
All right, man. You too. Peace.